a public holiday, although the Constitution does not recognize Moi Day as a holiday. Do you think it should be reinstated as a public holiday? Talk to us at KTN News or at Zeda Brenda. Begin with the hashtag News Center, whether you think that Moi Day should be reinstated as a public holiday. So it is a discussion not just to have right now with lawyer Paul Otieno concerning the affirmation by Interior Cabinet Secretary that tomorrow will be a public holiday. And thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Otieno, on KTN News Center. The Cabinet Secretary affirmed this celebration that will be held tomorrow after a lengthy debate. Lawyer Paul Otieno is joining us from a city center studio, and if you can hear me, this the Moi Day celebration is being affirmed after a lengthy debate. What do you have to say about that?
Before court, that led to Justice Udunga's ruling was that a Kenyan went to court and said that a number of things needed to be made clear. That one, if the Constitution, for example, wanted to scrap off Moi Day, it would have expressly said so. Because there are provisions in the Constitution that says that anything that is inconsistent with this Constitution ceases to exist henceforth. But it also amended. Like I've seen this argument where people say that if it is not in the Constitution, then it should not be there. If you look at the very section that deals with national holidays, it gives Parliament powers to also create or recognizes if there are existing holidays and how the process that should go for them to be observed. So what was in court was a Kenyan went to court first, one, to seek that it be declared officially as a public holiday because the date was never amended, neither was it scrapped. Then secondly, he was seeking the order that it be accorded the same respect and the same status like all other holidays or national days as per the laws of Kenya. The reason why it was important to go to court and seek these orders are that there are certain things that are related to the observance of public holidays or national days. For example, you realize that there is a part of the Employment Act that says that employees should actually rest on national days and public holidays, but in the event that they are not resting, then there are contracts that agree that employers should compensate in lieu of those employees coming to work. So there were other things that were also related to the marking and observance of Moi Day.
So, Lawyer Otieno, why do you think there's such a huge debate about the court reinstating this day?
I think two main reasons. That one, Kenyans don't understand what the law is. The Constitution, first of all, is a framework. It doesn't give all the laws in this country. It just gives a framework on one, what is the law, or two, if you want to look for the law, where do you need to look for it? I think the confusion is with Kenyans tend to think that the mere fact that there are national holidays listed that exclude other holidays. You will realize that the Constitution only lists national holidays, but it gives, and there's a section, an article, I think it's sub-article 5, that relates to an act of Parliament, which this act of Parliament is the Public Holidays Act, which lists other holidays. So I think anybody who is reading just the Constitution may think that that is the beginning and the end of public holidays. National holidays and public holidays, there's a limit to the national holidays you can have, but national holidays are public holidays. If you want to look for how many public holidays are there, then you go to the Public Holiday Act. I think that is one. The second thing is that maybe And I don't want to say that it's impunity, but this current government has not accorded other public holidays the status they deserve, such that people have always thought that they are not there. But yes, somebody has gone to court for a declaration that it be made clear, because it is in our laws. That's why now it is very clear that once something it is in the law, it has not been repealed or amended, then the observation and strict compliance must be followed.
You talk about the government has not accorded the national holiday the status it deserves, which begs the question, yes, the CS says tomorrow is a public holiday, but how to celebrate that day is not been stated, because Kenyans are used to maybe going to the Nyayo Stadium, coming together to celebrate this important day. Is that what we also expected to happen tomorrow?
Basically, what Kenyans need to understand is that once a national day or a public holiday is listed, any Kenyan can celebrate it or mark it from wherever they are. What simply happens is that the state, normally, because the state sometimes also has guests, or the state want to communicate to even the media, they make it known that we will celebrate it from here, so that Kenyans get to know the point of convergence. But yes, there is no law that specifically says that national holidays must be celebrated at Nyayo Stadium. Like you've seen, President Uhuru Kenyatta has even taken some national holidays to Nyeri, to Nakuru, to Machakos, because there is no law that actually says that it must just be marked at this particular point. The obligation that there is that once a day is listed as a national holiday or as a public holiday, then the government needs to gazette it so that every Kenyan is aware that this day they are supposed to rest or take time to observe or mark it. That is the obligation that there is on the state. In fact, it hasn't happened in Kenya, but if you go to Tanzania, Magufuli sometimes, when he's brought a very heavy budget for marking a national holiday, he can decide and say, this year we will not have this national celebration, and this budget that was meant for this, either we will take it to pipe water or to do boreholes. And yes, even Kenyans can just decide, or the Kenyan government can decide, that there is no need of spending 300 million in marking a national holiday. That 300 million we will take to even Agenda 4 project and develop it to another level.
Lastly, as we bring this conversation to an end, it's quite interesting that just Judge Odunga said that scrapping off Moi Day from the Constitution was illegal. Yet yesterday, after that ruling, the CS sent a press statement to the newsroom saying that tomorrow is a holiday, but it has not been gazetted. Should we wait for gazettement notice?
The thing also Kenyans need to understand is that sometimes gazettement is a requirement of the law, because maybe there is a particular provision that mandates a public officer that for this to take effect, you have to gazette this. But if you read Odunga's ruling was to the effect that he does not need to gazette for Kenyans to have to mark this day as a public holiday, because it is already in the law. Mostly gazettement is just to make the public aware that this and this is happening, or this is the position of the state, or this is the position of this body. So if you strictly read Odunga's ruling, Odunga was very clear that failure to gazette does not necessarily take away the fact that Moi Day needs to be there. And Odunga was very clear that if Parliament, because it's Parliament that has been given the authority, if they no longer see the need to have Moi Day, then they just need to go sit, amend, or repeal the whole Public Holiday Act and come up with a new legislation that will define the national day, that will define the public holidays. So I think what Matiang'i was doing was just to ensure that there is some sort of clarity, so that if you are an employer, you get to know that it is the position of the state that your employees also need to be given a day off to celebrate Moi Day, or in the event that you are keeping them at work, if they request that they be compensated in lieu of you keeping them at work, then you need to meet such obligations.
Thank you so much for talking to us here on KTN News Center concerning the Moi Day celebration that will take place tomorrow. But of course, the government has not stated how the day will be celebrated. So from that conversation, let's cruise over back